Hello everyone, my name is Annette and you may know me as Nettersplays. Today we're all talking about Isle of Skye, but I wanted to particularly talk about the decisions made behind the player screens when setting prices. In Isle of Skye there are only 6 rounds of play, so every round will consist of a certain rotation between scoring tiles, which were randomly drawn at the beginning of the game. These tiles will guide all players towards building certain types of landscapes. Before placing tiles, we all need to buy tiles from each other. This leads to an interesting set of decisions placed upon each player to set those prices. Now every player will randomly choose 3 tiles, and one of those tiles will get the axe, and the other 2 will be assigned a certain price. Now, the prices that a player sets on a tile not only represents how much they're selling it for, but also how much they're willing to pay for it. So this simple decision has now become a tad bit more complex. So, how much should one set a price on a tile? There are different key things to help the players figure out what price to place. For one, the scoring tiles will guide all players towards a certain direction. Perhaps this round they want to score more completed mountain areas or have plenty of sheep. Now, if you have a tile that has those types of landscapes, then your best bet is to sell those at a higher price. The problem is that you don't want to set the price too high so that no one can afford it. Also, you will have to pay for it if no one buys it. So players need to keep track of each other's money bags. Of course, this is hidden information, but one can more or less guess who the rich player on the table is. Another way to figure out how to set a price on a tile is to observe the expanding landscapes of the other players. Glancing over and figuring out which one of your tiles will best fit with another player's landscape may also lead towards a higher price for that particular tile. Another thing is that you also have to set aside money in order to purchase other tiles. So turn order does have a play with this decision, but it's safer to save a few coins aside to get a tile you're interested in. All in all, the decisions that are made behind the player screen has led me to write this little story about Isle of Skye. I title it Whiskey Season. The bagpipes and drums have been rumbling in the vast open air of Isle of Skye for many generations. The pride and growth of every Highland clan has compounded the march between trails. The one true love of the land has energized the rivalry between 5 competing clans. The chieftains have learned that the only way to rule is to expand their territory through trade. This year, the Isle of Skye has blossomed with animals. Whoever among the clans that has gathered the most livestock around their farmland will gain a sizable amount of achievement. The MacLeods have an upper hand with an abundance of sheep from their territory, but will they be willing to trade, and for how much? We, the MacDonalds, need to survive this year. Apparently the only weakness the MacLeods have is their need for whiskey. Now, if I drive the cost up on my whiskey trail, then perhaps I'll be able to afford the cost of the livestock. The only problem is that I only have a few pieces of gold, and no need for whiskey. Well, I have nothing to lose. I've survived on whiskey for the past year, so let them pay for it if they want it. As we meet in the plains to trade, they surprise me with a high price on sheep. I can't afford it, and yet they have no farms to place their livestock. Ugh! What jerk those MacLeods! Then they surprise me again by not purchasing my barrels. Wow! Now I'm broke. I guess it's another year of whiskey. I guess it could have been worse. I'll just have to save my money for the next trade. Just you wait until whiskey season, MacLeods. Then the joke will be on you. Cheers. Alright, well thank you so much for joining me. Again, you can always find me as Nettersplays on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!